There was a point in the Old Testament when just before Babylon destroyed Israel and the first temple, where God said, I've made this temple for my own name, for my glory, to be the representation of where I am kind of for you, because you're my people, Israel. And he said, but you've disobeyed, so I will destroy it. And he did. And then in Matthew chapter 23, at the end of the chapter, he's finished telling the Pharisees, he's like, woe to you because you're all a bunch of whitewashed tombs and you're hypocrites and yada yada. He says, woe to you. And then he says, and Jerusalem, he said, oh, poor Jerusalem, I wish I could gather you together like a mother hen gathers her chicks and just be kind and loving like a mother. He's like, but you wouldn't let me. And he said, because you killed the prophets and you've not, he didn't say because you haven't seen your Messiah, but because they didn't recognize their Messiah, or what he does say, the time of his visitation. Because of that, he said, your temple is going to be left to you desolate. And in 70 AD, in 66 something AD, started with Nero persecuting the Jews and then besieging it. It was really bad. And then Titus took over, and Titus kind of finished it off, whatever. It all happened, and then he destroyed the temple in 70 AD. So God made this beautiful temple through them, this beautiful temple, the second temple, that he loved. The temple, well, obviously he didn't really love a building, but it was gorgeous and it glorified him, and it was like the representation of God, kind of sort of, to the nations, and about Israel as the chosen people. And he said, because you wouldn't let me gather you together as chicks, like because you didn't notice me and all that, he said, you're going to be punished by me destroying what I love. Do you ever have hardships in your life? And it's just like, okay, God, the world's falling apart. And okay, so I'm skipping here for a minute from the individual you to the world in general. The world's falling apart. And where did you go? Did you just leave everything? Well, who's not going to notice that at least some, and some believe more than others, but at least some of the horrors happening in this world are because the states, Canada, whatever, have wiped their hands of God. We don't need you. It's way beyond the separation of church and state and school and church and whatever. It's way beyond that. Like just immorality, like so abundant. And everyone taking the Lord's name in vain and having no regard for him, and every worship of every other god, including idols, the idols that we make ourselves, but not the actual real God. So some of us, we're not seeing that the judgments for, I think a whole lot of things are happening to Canada and the States and the world as in general, as not because there just happened to be a wildfire, but because God is judging us. So when all of this is happening, and it's just like, okay, God, why didn't you stop these people from going their base ways and disregarding you? And you could have done that and you could have looked better. It's kind of like, why would you destroy your temple? Because you were disciplining your children, because he is a perfect father. Because as much as I'm sure it did sadden him a whole lot that those temples were destroyed, they brought it upon themselves. So back to you. Do you ever have problems, and you might even say, I'm following you, God? And I'm not saying every problem is because of a judgment. It's not. But there are some. I'm following you, but I'm also shacked up with my girlfriend. Or I'm a compulsive liar, and I lie like by choice. Like I intentionally lie, or whatever. Are you doing any of those? Even if you can say with your mouth, yes, I go to church and I read my Bible and I pray to God and I live for God. Are you really? So when these things happen, I'm not necessarily that God is judging you, because it can be something else, but don't automatically say God only does this to people he hates. No, he doesn't hate you. He's not mad at you. He's not disappointed in you. If you're a child of God, he is like more in love with you than you can possibly imagine. But like right now, uh, we haven't had I haven't had a fantastic day with Elle. And like, I don't mean anything bad, but I mean, some days, we're like, it's just like, you're not listening. I mean, there's lots of days I'm not listening, but it's just like, okay, what we should do here is a good parent would say, nope, we're not going on the phone. We're not watching television. But the thing is, I have a movie in mind that I want to go watch right now. She's in the house. I don't really think it's right to make her hide out in her room while I watch a movie. And while I'm watching a movie, then can I be sure that she's not going to be going on her phone? Shouldn't I be kind of monitoring that? Well, as a good parent, then I have to sacrifice what I want and say, this is a punishment, but I love you. I love you so immensely. And I don't even love her like God loves me and God loves you. It's nothing, you can't even compare, but that's what a good parent does. So God isn't leaving you to just wiping his hands of you. He's not saying, I hate you. He's saying, I love you so much that you and even though your punishment hurts you for a moment, he's like, it hurts me just as much or more. We'll say more. It hurts me more, but I'm a good parent, and that is how a good parent works. And that is how a really good God works. So you have not been hated, you have not been left, you're not useless or hopeless. You're exactly where God needs you to be right now.